Alright, Exiles, welcome back. Today we're talking about how to beat Benedictus, the first Herald in Path of Exile 2. And yes, this fight is just as painful as everyone says. You meet Benedictus near the end of Act 4, right after pushing through Erastas and taking down Torvian, so you're probably already a little tired. Unfortunately, he doesn't care. This boss loves punishing mistakes, and if your lightning resistance isn't solid, he will absolutely delete you in seconds. The arena is small, chaotic, and packed with mechanics that can wipe you before you even understand what went wrong. In this video, I'll walk you through the core mechanics so this fight stops feeling impossible. We'll talk about how to move in the tight arena, how to dodge those explosive lightning attacks, and most importantly, how to escape the maze phases without panicking. And yes, we need to have a serious talk about that laser. It tracks fast, hits harder than it looks, and will one-shot you if you're not ready. Stick around because once you understand what Benedictus is actually doing, this fight goes from frustrating to very manageable. I'm quickly moving on to the video. Before we start, if you enjoy these types of list videos, don't forget to like the video and subscribe. Enjoy watching. When you are hunting down Benedictus in Path of Exile 2, the game actually makes things pretty straightforward. You will run into him near the very end of your journey through Erastus, just past the excavation, and since this fight is tied directly to the main story, it is clearly marked on the map and almost impossible to skip. That said, because every Path of Exile 2 map is randomly generated, the exact layout can change, so if it feels like he is playing hide and seek, do not panic and keep pushing forward through the area. As long as you are moving deeper into Erastus and following the main path, you are heading the right way and will reach the Benedictus boss fight naturally as part of learning how to beat Benedictus. Benedictus is a dangerous boss because he mixes heavy physical damage with extremely punishing lightning damage, and both hit much harder than you might expect at this point in Path of Exile 2. If your resistances are even slightly behind, this fight will immediately expose that weakness. Lightning resistance in particular is non-negotiable here, because many of his abilities are designed to punish players who try to brute force the encounter without proper preparation. When we first tested the fight, we went in with only 17% lightning resistance, and it was a disaster. Benedictus was deleting us almost instantly, so we made a quick adjustment by equipping a topaz ring that gave 30% lightning resistance and adding a storm rune to the chest piece for extra protection. That single change made a massive difference and turned the fight from impossible into manageable. With better lightning resistance, we suddenly had room to actually play the mechanics instead of dying on sight. The extra defense gave us time to react to his attacks, reposition safely, and most importantly, survive the massive lightning laser that can otherwise one-shot you. If you are learning how to beat Benedictus, stacking lightning resistance before this fight is one of the smartest moves you can make. Alright, now let's talk about the actual mechanics of the Benedictus fight. Right at the start, the boss gives you a brief damage window where he is fairly passive, and this is your chance to really push his health down. If your build is strong enough, try to get him to around 3/4 health or even half if you have good damage, because doing this can effectively skip the first phase and move you straight into the more important part of the encounter. Once the second phase kicks in, Benedictus changes the arena by slamming two massive pillars down into the fight area. This instantly shrinks the available space and makes positioning much more important, since you have far less room to dodge and reposition. From this point on, the fight becomes much more about movement and awareness rather than raw damage alone. When the maze mechanic starts, you will see the floor begin to glow with a faint blue light, and lightning shards will spread across the ground. This is your warning that something big is coming, and your immediate reaction should be to run straight toward Benedictus and stand directly underneath him. That spot acts as a safe zone when the mazes appear, and it can save you from taking massive damage right away. After the maze fully forms, your goal is to move through it as cleanly as possible and reach the orange exit gate. Getting out through that gate is crucial because staying inside the maze for too long can easily lead to taking a lethal amount of damage, especially if your lightning resistance is not capped. The good news is that these mazes are not completely random. The layouts tend to follow very similar patterns, so if you are farming or retrying the fight, you will start to recognize the paths almost immediately. Once that muscle memory kicks in, this mechanic becomes far less stressful and much easier to handle consistently. During the rock phase, Benedictus floods the arena with falling stones, and this is one of the more frustrating mechanics in the fight. The warning indicators on the ground blend into the floor color, which makes them easy to miss if you are not paying close attention. Focus on spotting the smaller, darker circles onto the ground because those mark exactly where the rocks are about to crash down. At the same time, keep an eye on Benedictus himself. If you see him winding up for a bigger attack, it usually means a heavy rockfall is coming that can deal massive damage if you get caught. Do not rush your damage here, stay patient, keep some distance from the boss, and prioritize clean movement until the arena settles again. The electrical spires are another mechanic that can quickly get out of hand if you ignore them. They spread across the arena, which is already limited in space, and the only way to remove them is by walking over a spire to trigger it and then immediately moving or dodging away. If you are not careful, it is very easy to get boxed in or forced into taking unnecessary damage. The best approach is to deal with these spires during downtime between Benedictus phases. Use those moments to deliberately clear a few of them so the arena stays manageable. Keeping the floor clean makes a huge difference later on, especially when multiple mechanics start overlapping and you need room to move. The lightning laser is easily the most rage-inducing part of the Benedictus fight. The window between the attack being telegraphed and the laser actually firing is incredibly short, which makes it feel almost impossible to react to at first. If you are not already in the right position when it starts, chances are you are going to get hit. The safest way to handle this is during Benedictus's electrical phase, when he spawns 3 orbs of electricity in front of him. In that moment, you want to stay close and position yourself behind the boss. Being tight to his back gives you the best chance to sidestep or roll away from the lightning laser before it connects. Before we increased our lightning resistance, this attack was a guaranteed one-shot every time it landed. Once our resistance was higher, the fight became far less punishing, but the laser is still something you must respect and plan around. A huge part of beating Benedictus comes down to trial and error and learning these timings through repetition. If you're attempting this fight on hardcore, it is absolutely worth studying the mechanics ahead of time and practicing safe positioning because a single mistake here can end your run instantly. The video ends here. See you in another video. Don't forget to subscribe.